Hey everybody, Asher here, back with more Not For Broadcast, where we're doing the thing of binge playing all at once. So it's day 371, A Proportionate Response, which is a scary, scary ass title. As we see our two news broadcasters here, things got a little bit explosive and nuclear in the last episode as the Advance decided to nuke 4 cities on the continent in response for continued blockades. That can only end one way, and it's terrible. So how you portray celebrities will influence their lives. Well, you know, last time the tooltip person took the day off. It would have been nice to have it off this time, but it looks like there's some stuff here that we haven't seen before. It's, oh, don't tell me Miss Wolf's going to have a breakdown too. Ugh. But yeah, this is terrible. And I kind of have to know what happens next, which I guess is sort of the point here. So this is what you look for sometimes, is everything compelling? And I think the answer is we've taken our shift from the comedic beginning to the past few episodes being more of the we're in real shit now. So we've gone from shit to can we even get home? Day 371. The rest of your shift passes in a blur with the same words going around you. Operations working for advanced detonated nuclear explosives. Initial estimates put death toll in the millions. Yes, it did really happen. You pull in the driveway with no memory of the journey home. The light in the front room's on. Clearly someone else is still awake. The door creaks open in the living room and you find Sam sitting on the sofa staring at the TV. The screen is off. They've clearly lost in thought. You take a seat beside and reassuring hand on their shoulder. They don't look at you, but they do reach up and take your hand in there. Now you're close. You can see Sam's face more clearly. You see a look you've never seen before. Chris, Susie, they're both. I know. What do we do? So they're both not here. We know one is abroad right now. Was the other one a kid? We're one of our youth operatives that put a nuclear device out. What the hell can we do? The bastards killed Chris and Susie, a million others, all because of this fucking war, which you never asked for. Where there should be tears, there's only fire. Pure raw fury. They're manic. No, I hate them, Alex. I know you've never been a fan of Advance, but after this, they're monsters. They need to know what happened to that. We can't just be indifferent. We need to actually do something. So we could be la la la. I love Advance, even though they killed our children or killed other people here. I don't think it's that simple. The country is suffering. You don't end it by nuking a bunch of people. Nothing can justify what they did. That's true. Relief spreads over Sam's face like a wave as they collapse against you, clutching tightly. This weighs heavily on them, but you're not even sure you fully processed it yet. But at least we're together. So it's terrible. You literally lost your child. A final farewell. The last week passed in a blur, a rush of things to do, but all immediately forgotten. Your memory clouded by a dark fog. 9 days passed since the so-called Liberation Night, and the beginning of Advance's new future. You weren't the first ones at the church today. You were staggered by the number of people who've come to mourn with you. Everyone's here for the same reasons, sharing the same pain, the same sense of loss. It's written all over their faces, much as it would be on yours. You're a step away from everyone else, needing space to gather your thoughts. Your little girl, Susie, and Chris too, both just gone. Sam said little since that evening, clearly in shock, but not that you could blame them. You haven't been much better. Sam appears silent and squeezing your hand tightly as an act of desperation seeking comfort, and you squeeze back some small piece. You can't help but wonder, are you partly to blame? These scars will not fade quickly. There hadn't even been coffins to bury, which is just fucking terrible, especially speaking as someone who's had to bury their own child. It's terrible. And that's a really long time into the future. That's a really long time into the future. Well, shit. An academic exodus. We're still broke as poor! It's seemingly ordinary morning, but as you get to work, you find a small crowd gather in the break room. When you go to grab your first cup of tea for the day, you can't help but overhear some excited chatter. You didn't hear? Yeah, another one's gone missing. What's that bring the total up to now? Oh, I think it'd be over 100 at this point. They won't all have been reported or noticed yet. I ask what's going on. An exciting young woman turns to you and begins to explain. Another professor went missing from Queensview University with all the other disappearances all over the last year, scientists, doctors, researchers. She paused before lowering her voice and whispered, "It's clearly Disrupt targeting the people speaking out against them." I haven't heard advanced or struggling to prevent further. A deep, familiar voice from behind you interrupts. What exactly is going on here? So obviously that's Mr. Bozeman. A silence overtakes the room as you turn in unison. Towards the doorway, Bozeman clears his voice before continuing. I've told you before, I don't want to hear about these so-called disappearances. Come on now, people. Advance has been very clear that there's nothing to worry about, which means they're not our problem unless they just start classing cappuccinos as intellectual. I don't think anyone here has anything to worry about. Best get back to work. Bozeman holds up a hand to keep you as everyone else files out of the room. Look, I know you have a habit of doing what you want, but things are different now. Advance runs the show and they've made their feelings clear. So now I'm doing the same. Channel 1 official position is that government has things well in hand. Nothing more, nothing less. I trust I won't be hearing talk about this again. He gives you a curt nod before leaving. I think this might be our last episode because we might be getting killed. It seems that for better or worse, public ownership is now in full swing. Well, we're in the distant future. Very exciting, I guess. A career in the making. We're still broke-ass poor. You drum your fingers on the steering wheel impatiently. As you wait for Charlie again, it's great to see he's enjoying the cohesion cadets, so he didn't, go over and, bomb people. And he's so enthusiastic, but he does really need to stay behind every week to help. It's your Saturday evening, too, after all. Finally, you see, that's just kids and activities and stuff. You can't help but smile back, the frustration starting to fade. She seems so genuinely happy. After hugging his friends goodbye, Charlie heads over to the car and gets in, his face flustered with excitement. So, how was it? You were interrupted as he can't contain himself. Guess what? Alright, what? You play on and smile. So obviously the cohesion cadets are starting point for becoming a CCO, so we get a head start when applying for that. Charlie gushes, clearly keen on explaining his news, almost tripping over the words. Well, apparently from next year, the top 5% of cadets will be taking a special program to become CCMs, Community Cohesion Managers, and guess who's gonna be in it? He beams at you. So, I want to say that's great news. I want to know to Community Cohesion Manager duties. Oh, basically, they need to be the new liaison between regular people, the COs, and the Betterment Department. And that'll be us. People come to us with concerns, and we'll decide whether they need referrals, which is the department. Cool, right? So, you're going to be helping your friends report their friends and neighbors. Well, yeah, I guess. But only bad people. It's all about helping the community, making it safe for everyone. Charlie frowns. You don't like the COs or the Betterment teams? I'm just gonna not worry his head too much. Cool, I can't wait to tell everyone else. Charlie sits back in the seat, smiling again, though less enthusiastically than before. So, is it really a good thing for him to be doing this anymore? See, that's the thing, is that I've said before that sometimes it's difficult to crush your child's dreams, but it's necessary. But we haven't done it here, and we apparently have time warped to a few years where apparently the organization that nukes people is fine to still be brainwashing a child every weekend. So spark to light the flames, apparently. Oh, look, the Night of Fires. We have more buildings on fire. You're surprised to find Sam next to bed you when you wake up. They must have gotten in very late last night from drinks with the folks from school. You decide to let them sleep and enjoy the lazy Sunday morning. With the house quiet, you decide to bring some breakfast into the living room and watch some TV while you eat. This is breaking news. Reports are coming from across the country that large swaths of farmland went up in late last night as part of what authorities are calling a heinous and well-planned act of terrorism known by the group Disrupt. Well, of course they're going to blame Disrupt. You dropped your spoon back in the porridge and turn up the volume. In addition to the food stores, which government sources have said will put a strain on universal mini centers everywhere, a number of COs and civic buildings were targeted in last night's attack. According to the Prime Minister, Julia Salisbury, we're down to singular Prime Minister, Julia Salisbury. Specific prisons and re-education and betterment facilities were raided, and a small selection of problematic and potentially dangerous individuals were forcibly extracted into lawful custody. So who got hurt? Unfortunately, it appears that the COs were ill-prepared for an event like this, and Disrupt seemed much more effective and well-organized in comparison. While most of the targeted locations were thankfully empty of people, given the lateness of the hour, the Betterment Centers were fully staffed when they came under attack. 17 COs and 4 administrative staff lost their lives as a result of this brutal actions of Disrupt last night, with countless more injured and many seriously rushed to the hospital. A few Disrupt members were captured during the conflicts, but the vast majority seem to have evaded capture so far. So, time to turn off the TV, so much for a lazy Sunday. You're interrupted by Charlie walking across the living room bleary-eyed with a piece of toast. Anything interesting going on? Mutedly, you leave the news on as it cycles through the story again. Charlie watches in a hushed silence. By the end of the broadcast, they're drubbing it, the Night of Fire. Everything's gonna be okay, right? I hope so. Alright. 910, 12. Alright, so it's time for the news. Again. So it looks like things are about to get very happy, clearly. Well, I mean, things are already very happy, so we'll see here. Play the telethon, an entire bonus broadcast in the extras menu. I don't know what the... So it's a bonus broadcast. Clearly not this, right? So, I don't know. I wonder if there's anything I could have done to possibly prevent things from going nuclear or ending stuff. I don't know. Day 912, the Uprising. A year and a half since what they're trying to call Liberation Night.
Alex? He's receiving. Calling. This is Alan James. The revolution starts tonight, Alex, and we need your help. Throughout this broadcast, we're going to ask you to do things that will directly help with this mass protest. I'll be talking to you regularly tonight, and I'll also be hacking you when I can. Please help get our message out. We're on the verge, Alex. You've always been fair and balanced in your approach to us. With your help, we can tip the balance in our favor. If you play our tape at the second break, that's when we think it will have the most impact. It's on your right.
Episode of Just the Job, followed at 10 p.m. by a chance to see the very last episode of Just the Job.
So what?
How's he doing?
How should I know?
What, you haven't heard from him?
He's a wanted criminal, Colin.
So my nan, but she never missed her birthday.
Your grandmother's on the run, Colin.
Yeah. Armed robbery, resisting arrest, double homicide of the same bloke. She's right laugh.
I hope he's alright though. No, he's got his far and your brother was fine.
Going in 10 seconds, everybody.
Wonder what they're doing to him. Annoying him, probably. Not probably, definitely.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
What a happy day.
This is the National Nightly News broadcasting across the territories. My name is Megan Wolf. Our top stories tonight. Future legend. It's been 40 days since Disrupt conducted multiple attacks across the territories. During the coordinated action, subsequently dubbed the Night of Fire, emergency services were kept busy at the agricultural centres, while a series of covert attacks were carried out freeing political prisoners, including former newsman Jeremy Donaldson.
Yay! Hey, Jeremy.
Nothing's been heard from the missing journalist since the violent Disrupt attack on his convoy 6 weeks ago. Donaldson was on his way back to Betterment after his notorious court appearance. All of us here at Channel 1 hope that wherever he is now, he's safe. Food, glorious food. With the last of the menu centres opening in territories 5, 8 and 14 today, Advance confirmed that the programme is now in full operation, providing free food for every citizen of the new future. What started as rationing during the 20-week war has blossomed into a social contract that is the envy of the unawakened world. Jack Tractor Pants, spokesman for the menu centres,
Tractor Pants!
While they can guarantee the contents of every box is nutritious, the actual quality of the meals you cook depends on whether you have a touch of Chef Jordan Rankley or the culinary skills of a professional footballer. If I were a rich man, problems in territories 11, 17 and 22 today as striking bosses attempted to undermine their new economies. With seemingly no awareness of irony, the former CEOs and MDs have come together to form the Wealth Creators Union, with demands including a return to 150% bonuses, private jets and mandatory grovelling zones. In an annoying show of petulance, the former elites drove their luxury vehicles at 10 miles per hour up and down the motorways of their respective territories.
Well, that's fun.
The coordinated protest of elites inconvenienced several 100,000 of their employees. Some fun now. Signs of ever more resistance to advance's radical policies today, as popular resistance movement Disrupt extended their reach further across the territories. The organisation's emblem appeared in every major city across the territories last night in a well-coordinated publicity stunt, which has seen them dominate the headlines. Asked about the impressive display earlier today, Disrupt spokesperson Alan James said that the movement was reaching what he described as a critical mass. A poor choice of words given recent history. 3 of our regular stories come to an end tonight. First, a flood rain's gonna fall. More tragic photographs emerged today from Sophia Remington's failed Flood Festival. Arrivals at the island paradise were shocked to discover that the accommodation was on fire, the ocean was missing, and the only music was Jackson Hamstring's Banjo Fantastic, with 81-year-old Jackson Hamstring, who mercifully appeared to have forgotten his banjo. One crying attendee told reporters, "I came here to find my inner Flard, but all I discovered was what it's really like to be a paw." While most of the blame has been passed to event manager Jimmy Longcon, Sophia Remington's resignation is expected in the coming days.
So much for
Flards.
Flards.
Should have liked her tenure as CEO to end. The miracle of Earth. Wonderful news from the imprisoned intellectuals of Dante's Taint as they announced the world's first subterranean baby was born yesterday.
So they're just
Proud parents,
3
Vaughan
years
and
under
Swarthmore
there.
and Horgensward were all smiles as they showed off little Dante. Although authorities admit there is now no way to bring them home, the team say they're happy with their new underground residence. They said, "There's always room for a little one in the taint."
Oh.
Cash in the hat trick. Beer tycoon and world's richest man, Johnny Hamsleeves, is seeking to cement his place in the annals of history by today releasing his own currency. Johnny claims the mint he's installed on the
So
east
this
shore of
seems
his private island
this seems kind of like the end because everything's kind of culminating into stuff that we don't have choices
any
with.
status as legal tender whatsoever, he encourages customers to use it to fill swimming pools, decorate living rooms, or trick the elderly.
Trick the
All that,
elderly.
plus, we'll be taking a trip to Dangley Parks for the notice board, as well as getting a sneak peek at the hottest ticket in town. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
People of the territories, today is the day we take back control. Soon it will be time for you to help us again. Come out of your houses, block the traffic, bring the capital to a standstill. I've met so many of you in my travels up and down Territory 1. You always ask the same question, how can I help? Well, this is how. And as for when, you'll know. Keep watching.
But first, 500 days after the loss of a fine leader and a great man, the start of tonight's programme is dedicated to remembering and celebrating the life of Peter Clement.
Oh, Peter.
Patrick Bannon is live from Parliament Park, where Julia Salisbury will be breaking ground on what will soon be a memorial garden in Peter's honour. Patrick.
Listening to that old bitch lying through her teeth about missing that poor bastard.
Patrick.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
We're live.
Because I'm not being funny. Things were better with Peter, weren't they?
Patrick.
They were, and I don't mind saying it. They were, because he held her back. But now there's no stopping her.
Hello, Patrick. We're
Of
live.
course, can't say that, can I, Francis? No, not with public ownership. No, with public ownership, you can't say anything these days. She's lost it, mate. She's completely off the rocker. I heard from an aide that... Hello, Megan. You join me here live from the what? Hello, Megan. You join me here live from the what?
Lost some signal there for a moment. Well, we will be going live.
The cat and the hard hat.
Get Patrick back.
Okay.
Meanwhile, let me just say, I think the memorial gardens are going to be gorgeous. I've had a sneak peek at the designs, and Alana Marsh has done a fabulous job. Oh, okay, all right. It seems like we have got the signal back. We can now go live to Patrick Bannon in Parliament Park. Patrick.
Thank you, Megan. I'm Patrick Bannon.
Yes, you are.
And we are indeed live here. Apologies for the technical difficulties there, but any moment now, Julia Salisbury will step out on stage behind me.
Alex, Bozeman here. The boys in editing have just informed me that the eulogy footage isn't fully cut together yet. You're going to have to do it on the fly. For goodness sake, make sure you make it look good.
Slowly gathering since this afternoon.
This is Alan. You can undermine them here and help us win hearts and minds.
Yep.
Make him look bad, Alex. Really.
I mean, I hate both of these people.
And it
But one of
seems
them
like
killed my
ceremony
child.
is getting underway. Here is Prime Minister Minister Julia Salisbury, the picture of elegance, to begin her address.
Good evening, fellow teammates and friends.
Teammates, are we at Target now?
500 days ago, all of our lives changed irrevocably. Still reeling from the triumphs and tribulations of Liberation Night, another great loss befell the people of these newly united territories. The loss of a leader, a statesman, a dear friend, and a hero. Peter Gordon Clement.
Peter's death at the age of just 62, of course, announced by the team on the 24th of December, just 6 weeks after Liberation Night.
It's a long
Born to a
time.
working-class family on a housing estate in Rotherham, Peter first trained as a carpenter before getting his start on television. First moving and building scenery, and then developing into the personality that we all knew and loved so much.
Just the Job first hit our screens over 25 years ago, running for 11 series, winning multiple awards, and charming audiences up and down the country.
Peter taught us, all of us, not to be content with the way things are, not to accept inequities, no matter how small. But he also taught us what it took to fight them. Courage, integrity, empathy, and hard, bloody graft.
Across a career spanning 3 decades, Peter Clement was known for shows including Wake Up, It's Saturday, and much later, late-night chat show Petey, which at its peak drew millions of viewers.
Peter was by no means a saint. Trust me, he once told me he had more regrets than he'd had stolen dinners. He always did have a knack for a turn of phrase. But it speaks to the strength of his character that he chose to share with us his mistakes alongside his achievements, his faults as well as his talents. Peter had the heart to give it all.
Oh, I can't censor the silent words here.
These united territories.
Famous for his potty mouth, it's estimated conservatively that Peter Clement uttered over 1.5 million swear words during his career, though some sources put this figure well in excess of 2 million F-bombs alone.
Yep.
Gripped by illness as he was in the weeks and months leading up to Liberation Night, he wasn't the man we loved. But his eyes still twinkled with that familiar joy for life, that spark of wit and wisdom of a life lived for others.
Prime Minister Clement, of course, died from apparent liver failure after suffering from the long-term effects of alcohol abuse.
I first met Peter nearly 20 years ago, moments before I was supposed to give a speech. Not unlike this one, actually. Only I'd
Oh, it's young Peter.
Down myself, and I was young, nervous, desperate to be liked, and from behind me I heard, "Christ, Pet, you've either pissed your kecks or sprung a leak, but either way you got a problem." And before I could even say a word, he stripped off his dry trousers and insisted I took them. That was the sort of man that Peter Clement was. Kind, compassionate, sensitive, a brilliant thinker, a natural leader.
Look, he's got an advanced little badge.
A good man. This glorious, this so beautiful and new, this shining beacon of
Thank you, Alex. There'll be another opportunity to steer public perception soon.
If the cops don't come for me first.
You'll know when.
his accomplishments, the future he forged, the boundaries he pushed. To me, he'll always be the man in his pants cheering on a stranger at the back of the conference. It is my great honour to give to you the Peter Clement Memorial Garden. Shall we see if we can get a countdown going? Everyone with me? 10, 9, 8, 7.
control the message.
I'm not leaving, I can't!
Oi!
You two, come with me!
Well, that's exciting.
Help us here, look. We're gonna help you. We need a minute! You're hurting me!
Well, stop resisting then. Stop resisting and we'll let you up.
I'm not resisting! Ah!
What are you doing?
I'm not resisting! You'll stop! I'm not resisting!
Turn the camera off. National Night News. We have the right to be here. I said turn the fucking camera off. Who the fuck are you?
Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear anything.
Yes. Medics are coming. You sit down.
I can't hear you. I'm from the National Nightly News.
Well, then you can consider this payback. Salisbury's still here. Julius Salisbury! You were guilty of the murder of more than 10 million people! Justice demands a response!
Haven't you done enough? Look around you!
Fucking
This is
time.
what your precious freedom looks like, is it?
Rise up! Take to the streets, the time has come! Stop fires! Break windows! Draw them out! They can't stop us all! Resist! Distract!
Lower your weapons! Lower your weapons!
They haven't shot the cameraman.
What are you doing? Come on! Shut that off. I said turn it off.
Let off.
I said turn it off.
Shocking scenes from the Capitol there.
Is this not enough? You've just seen them execute unarmed civilians. People like you and me. So why are you watching this? Why are you not in the streets with us tonight? What will it take for you to get up and be a part of this? March on team headquarters, storm the building, demand elections, demand answers. Be what you were born to be, the once and future free.
Oh, we got.
Now, don't go away. We'll be back after this. We'll be back.
Thank you, Alex. For all of us, you're doing great.
One was a good distance from the unit base.
This is becoming a weekly event.
No, it's different tonight. This is the big one.
Great. So there's a revolution happening outside and we're off to dangly fucking park.
That's journalism, apparently. Can we get set for the next sequence?
And I'm here tonight to say I'm sorry.
Segment grade D? D? Oh, I should have gone for the E. Okay.
My parents are not rich. My mother was a nurse and my father worked in a factory. I was the first member of my family to go to university. But I always envied my friends who had so much more. Over the years, my jealousy grew. So when Advance came to power, I
Fascinating.
didn't think about the damage they would do. I acted selfishly. I was glad to see the rich punished. I didn't see how backwards Advance were. I didn't understand that rather than tearing down the wealth creators, we should have been helping everyone else to take a seat at their table.
Oh, that's a good aspiration that never
Under
works.
Advance, the country is poorer. It is poorer in ambition. It is poorer in aspiration. We are infantilized by Advance's naive policies. Policies born from absurd,
Alex, during this next section, a cameraman working in the newsroom who's one of us is going to get a coded location out. We don't know yet which camera he's on, but if we find out, I'll let you know. Just keep your eyes out for the fist and try and keep it on the air for at least 5 seconds. Our operatives will do the rest.
our only hope,
This is your new
the
makeup artist,
only
Craig.
hope,
No.
What?
No.
now lies
10 seconds,
with
everybody.
Disrupt.
Sorry, Craig. It's a no. Okay, we are going in 5, 4, 3.
What a happy time.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News with me,
Welcome
Megan
back
Wolf.
to the National Nightly
Very
News
shortly,
with
we'll be
me,
heading on
Megan
over
Wolf.
to the final
Very shortly,
episode
we'll
of
be
what has
heading on
quickly
over to the
become a
final
hugely
episode of
successful
what has
feature,
quickly
The
become a
Notice Board.
hugely
But before we do,
successful
let's
feature,
chat
The
with
Notice
Philippa
Board.
Radin. Tell me, why do you think the public love the Notice Board so much?
It's real. There, I said it. It connects with people. You know, people look at us and they say, those are real people struggling with real problems.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to my PA secretary as I got out of the limo, I was saying,
Of course.
people to see normal, authentic people like them on TV.
That's why he got out of the limo.
Yeah, precisely. Unfortunately, then I was interrupted by some dreadful wretch who wanted an autograph, but a swift kicking from security soon put him back in line.
Yes, well, I think it's really good that our screens are filled with such relatable stories. So, the notice board is coming to an end after a sensational time at the top. What do you think has made this show so successful?
It's a combination of so many things. My hard work, my talent, my look.
Wow, you really have a lot to thank you for.
Hey, hey, hey. You have a lot to thank you. You're welcome.
We just heard our man's on camera for.
I have a real sense of responsibility now. You know, a sense I've been entrusted
Get back to the interview, Alex.
precious, and that I should use that platform for good.
Yeah, that's really important. We should use this platform to do good in the world, I agree.
That's exactly it. So I've decided to help as many...
Excellent work, Alex. That's the location shared. Next, you'll need to give them the go.
Better access to education, or reducing child poverty.
No, by adopting as many as I can get my hands on.
Oh, okay. How many children have you adopted?
Oh, we're well into the double figures now, Megan. I stopped counting in the late 30s.
Oh, shit.
Goodness, that is a lot of children.
Yeah, once we finish putting them into the guest room, I'll have to put a futon in the laundry cupboard.
Oh, you really are some sort of hero.
Hey, I live a privileged life. What can I say? I mean, any child I can take on is a child rescued from suffering.
Poor children. Were their lives really that bad before?
Oh, they're Northerns, I presume so.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's shocking to think, actually, that only 1 in 10,000 children have a celebrity parent.
I'd never thought of it that way
Well,
before.
I'm doing everything I can to fix it.
I want to see if there's more explosions
About
outside.
your life that's so desirable, then.
Well, it's mainly shame and panic interspersed with expensive bottled water, so actually, if anyone wants to, I'd happily trade.
Now that I can relate to. Right, we better go off and get ready. That was Philippa Radin sharing some thoughts about her lifestyle. I think it's really important to stay grounded and keep everything in perspective. Clearly, not everyone else agrees, but that's enough from me. Let's go now over to Dangly Parks for the final ever episode of the Notice Board.
Yay!
What a day! First the tea morning, and now to post this notice. I don't know how I managed to cope with it all. Oh wait, perhaps I do.
Just a big pile of trash over here.
Oh! By St. Barnabas, what on earth is all this?
Freeze, dirtbag!
Oh, Laura, it's you. I thought for a moment you were a knife-wielding mugger or stabber.
No, I'm afraid not. It's just me, a community cohesion officer, responsible for keeping crime at record lows.
Of course, I keep forgetting that thanks to you and your colleagues, violence on our streets is a thing of the past.
What's all this, Vicar?
I know! It's a disgrace. Somebody...
It's time for the go code. Give us 3 boos in a row, Alex. That will start the pincer movement. You might just pull this off. Push forward! 3 boos, Alex.
Careful, Vicar. It looks heavy.
Ha! They don't call me the Right Reverend. Ripped for no reason.
Yes!
It's no good.
It looks like all those crucifix classes were a waste of time.
Boo.
Perhaps you, a young CCO, would be able to move.
2 for 2. Fantastic.
Wait, those other boos didn't work?
Looks like all those lifting classes were a waste of time.
It's too heavy, even for me.
I'd boo that anyway.
You did it, Alex. We're good to go.
Call for the best firefighter in town! Hiya!
Well done, Captain Evans. You're so much stronger than us.
Especially me, the weak old man.
It's the least I could do for my community.
No luck catching the little devil then?
Unfortunately not. The ferrets struck again last night. When Ray opened the post office this morning,
Some more
he
explosions.
found every single stamp had been pre-licked.
God! Some people have no decency.
Sadly, if we don't catch him before tomorrow, we may have to cancel the village fete.
Don't worry. We won't let that happen. Don't worry. Will we, Vicar?
No.
Will we, Vicar?
Laura, tell me, why do they call him the ferret?
Some say it's because of his sneaky nature.
Some say because he's actually a ferret.
Whenever he strikes, he always leaves behind the foul stench of urine.
Because he's a ferret.
Never fear, officer. We'll catch this pissy nuisance and save the village fate. Or my name's not Captain Danger Evans. The community cohesion team are doing their best, but they simply don't have the smarts to solve this mystery. But I know someone who does.
Oh god, are we doing Dora the Explorer time?
Wide open. Me! Blackout!
It's the morning of the village fete. It's thanks to theatrical convention.
I sure hope everything goes to plan. Oh, look! There's Mrs. Craven setting up her cake stall.
And look, there's the motorcycle display team setting up for a show that would be far too expensive for live television.
I'm going to set up the coconut shy. What are you doing, Vicar?
First, I'm running the tombola. Then, I'll be selling forgiveness for money.
Yay!
Jams?
I couldn't possibly.
Oh, that sounded like Mrs. Craven. Looks like someone sucked all the jam out of her donut.
Yay!
Struck again!
Whatever are we to do?
Although I'm very competent, I have no idea how to solve this case.
I guess we'll just have to cancel the fate.
Hold it right there. Ferret.
Me? Have you been drinking from the fire extinguishers again?
Not you. The Vicar.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Admit it. You wanted the village fete cancelled so you could have the day off, didn't you?
I already have to work Sundays. I shouldn't have to work 2 days a week.
But how did you know?
Well, my first clue was the smell.
Yes, I do smell of urine.
Next, I noticed that the vicar's tongue was particularly dry, almost as if he'd been licking thousands and thousands of stamps.
Or perhaps eating Mrs. Craven's baking.
Y'all.
Which brings me on to my third clue. The vicar said that he had no more room.
Almost as if he'd had his fill.
Precisely.
But you managed to figure it all out.
But.
Well, I also found this at the scene.
That proves nothing. No!
Get him out of here, officer!
Oh no.
You did it, Captain. You could say you ferreted him out.
Ha 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 ha.
Come on, let's go and have a party in my massive garden. I am doing well.
Thanks to you, we're all doing well. That was it, the final ever episode of the Notice Board, and what a way to end it. Thank you as always to Jeff, Philippa and Tommy. After the break, we'll be both dancing and learning, so don't change that channel. We'll be right back.
That's the ads. Well done, everybody.
Wow! What a brilliant break!
This was the break we were hoping you'd play our tape. It would have had the most impact here, but we know you played it earlier. and we appreciate
Oh no, I've miscounted.
Hey, you!
That's right, Brad.
Come to the after party.
24 hours, all the products in our last satisfaction.
Well, I'm glad I messed that up.
one last push, Alex. We're closing in. One of the guests in the last section is working with us. You'll be asked to censor on our behalf. If you do it right, the final orders will be given. You'll get 3 chances. Get at least 2 of them right, and we're gonna win this thing. It's happening, Alex. Tonight we take it back.
Well, considering I can't count, then that's going to be very exciting.
Please, Sarah, anything.
Hey, Mom, I'm really not supposed to say.
Oh, he's safe.
Hi,
I'm Maddie. John just said to ask if you need touch up.
Bigger,
She?
stronger, more powerful than ever.
That's my shade, is it?
Yeah,
This is my shade.
that sounds like demolition. Ah! The Remington Smith Territory 1
Run
flash
back to Jenny
sale
now.
is now on. Get involved.
Yay.
Sorry about that, Sarah. Nothing you can tell me. At all, like at all.
They said no one's died, that's all I can say.
10 seconds.
What's wrong with you?
She is in tears.
Ugh.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later in this segment, we're hoping to be able to go back to Patrick Bannon at the scene of tonight's shocking Disrupt attack. But first, I'm delighted to be joined by the cast of the smash hit musical everyone is talking about.
No, not another musical.
In a moment, but first, let's take a look at them in action. Please give a warm National Nightly welcome to the Novaries.
I didn't need more singing, guys.
Hello? Doctor? Yes, I see. Thank you for letting me know. I have a decent life. I'm a happy, loving wife. And my job is well paid and fulfilling.
Is it though?
I have a husband, John. He's due home soon, won't be long. And I have to tell him something that is absolutely chilling. We share coffee in the morning.
Oh boy.
We make love every day. We take time alone together to talk and laugh and play. We prioritize our needs. We do charitable deeds.
I'd like to skip this. Can we have another disruption, please?
Are now beset by me.
I'm home.
Oh, darling John.
Oh, dearest John.
There's something very wrong. I've just had a conversation with our doctor, David Wong, so please be seated. This news will make you feel defeated. The scans revealed a lump.
You poor unlucky chump. Is it cancer?
Worse, oh, John. We're having a baby.
How can this be?
Oh, good. Are they trying to do birth control now?
I always wear 2 condoms for the maximum of
Safety in our tiny flat. We built a peaceful habitat. Now our lives are fucked. We're having a baby. Now you can't have any wine at book club.
And there won't be any time for foot rubs.
Now your hair will stink of weed.
And you'll start to disagree. And forget about that holiday in Territory 3.
Well, I'm glad they changed the name to Territories.
Past 10. In fact, you're never going to get a good night's sleep again. No more snap decisions to go on to a club.
You'll be lucky if you even make it out to the pub. Why can't we be more like our gay and lesbian chums?
The only glue they have to deal with comes from personal bums.
Now when I take a sick day at home,
The parasite won't leave you alone.
how he's grown.
We're our top priority.
I look after you, and you look after me. Ain't no trouble and strife. We gotta
So I'm guessing Advance is now saying don't have kids. Because of course they can't feed anybody.
No one wails and no one bawls. No one draws things on the walls.
A happy husband,
A wonderful wife. We got a
childless life.
We're having
A baby.
We're having a baby. Changing nappies daily. We're having a
My God, it's still going. No.
Now your kid is uppermost. It's more than a passing craze to have childless days. We're having a baby. Food and drink thrown everywhere. Death trap toys at the top of the stairs.
It's all death traps, guys. Disrupt needed to... I guess if I'd not fucked up and played the tape at the wrong time, we wouldn't have had to deal with this.
Have you considered that you might be having
Laugh!
Amazing. The Novaries there, treating us to their opening number from Elegy for a Childless Life, which is currently the hottest ticket in the Capital Theatre District. We'll be touring the territories later this year.
Then come on, you guys.
Come on down, let's go. Don't be shy. Hello. Hi, Megan. It's an honour to be here. Oh, really? Are you fans of the show? Yes, used to be. Well, listen, let's get stuck in. Your amazing musical. Now, I mean, not only do you perform this show every
So while they sang, there's explosions outside.
Right, but you're also the show's creators, am I right?
Well, everyone contributed their ideas, and then some of us went away and did the actual work on the script. But no, it's very much a team effort.
Oh, that's fantastic. How rude of me, I've not introduced any of you. I'll be the one being replaced next. Let's go down the line, shall we?
Hi, I'm Jack. Hi,
Jim Blunt. Pleasure to be here.
Jennifer Borum Woodley.
Hello, I'm John Satley. Used to be in the business professionally.
My name's Jill, with a J.
And I'm Janet. I'm the youngest. And I'm Janet.
That's incredible. And you were all friends previously. I mean, what a coincidence, right? With your names beginning with a J. With your names beginning with a J.
Oh my goodness, we never realized that.
Our names all begin with J.
How have we never noticed that?
Because you haven't typed them out 1,000 times?
You knew? Why didn't you say anything?
I thought we all knew. It's bloody obvious, isn't it? I just thought we were doing a funny thing where we never mentioned it.
And I believe as well as being friends, you're also couples. In real life as well as in the show.
Well, not exactly.
I'm not married to him. I'm with Janet.
And I'm with John, you lucky bean.
Jim and I are married.
4 fabulous years.
Well, that must make for some confusion in the rehearsal room.
Well, you should have seen the first draft. Jen decided that Jack would play Jim, I would play Jack. Jen, Janet, Jill, Jen, Janet, Jill, Jen.
I have no idea what that means.
Well, my character was originally just called Man 1.
It was allegorical.
It was very confusing.
Not for a professional.
Too much doing and throwing.
And gnashing and wailing.
And gin and tonic.
We decided that we'd just use our own names, which is less truthful.
We're also less likely to go into the wrong dressing rooms.
Oh, God, yeah, that would be very embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Of course, when I first wrote it, we were only meant to run for a few nights at the Membley Village Hall, but when I registered it with the Department for Culture, it caught the eye of someone high up, and before you could say an overnight sensation, we were transferring to the capital.
It's all been a bit of a roller coaster, really. I'm only 19. I'm the youngest.
You really don't have to repeat that.
I had to give up my job as a mortuary technician.
Well, yes, we all had to move to the capital.
I love that job.
It's been a very turbulent time.
So peaceful. No singing.
No singing.
This piece isn't.
Stand by, Alex. Censor the orange.
It's about children and why you shouldn't have them.
In a way, I guess it is political, with a small p. After all, we are a solid unit, and eagle-eyed audience members will see we nod our heads to advance on stage throughout, and we target the messaging at women aged 22, well, about 35, as they're the most likely to be afflicted by this terrible problem.
terrible problem.
Well, I was right.
You understand, Megan.
You clearly agree.
This isn't about me. Of course, we see that there are advantages to a family unit, but eagle-eyed couples watch as the little parasites advance on their lives. And there's no time to play the guitar, get through a book, or watch a movie. They're exhausted, passed out on the couch.
Like, don't get me wrong, I am fine with people making their own choice to not have kids. But the difference is people wanting to do that versus what's going on here.
Oh, well said, John. Thanks, Jack. Got you back.
So could you just tell us what is the play about? What happens in it?
Well,
go ahead.
It's a tragedy, obviously. Jennifer, myself, and John have their child, and then the story charts the downfall of their hopes and dreams.
Yay!
Lots of singing.
There's lots of singing.
My character works at a menu centre for a distribution unit. Eagle-eyed, she sees her friend's rapid advance to a pit of despair. Becoming a target for children's TV advertising at the age of 22, she decides to take drastic action. I can't really say more, though. I probably said too much already.
Let's not spoil the second act for anyone who might come to see it.
Which should be all of you. For too long, we've been told that a life without children is somehow incomplete, that children are a blessing. Well, I've done the research, and they're not. Besides, there's already loads of bastards running around all over the place, so...
We just want people
You have to
have the
censor
option of
that?
a happy, child-free life without stigma. You know, when I was 14, before I had come out, I had an experience with a girl called Julia Jacobs. She was an experiment, I guess, you know, a chance to dip my toes into the...
Fascinating. Well, thank you all so much for coming in tonight. I really hope you keep them dancing in the aisles for many performances to come. The Nova is there. And I am pleased to say we can now go back to Patrick Bannon to get the latest from the scene of tonight's horrific events. Patrick, are you okay?
Thank you, Megan. Thank you. This is Patrick Bannon.
Of course it's Patrick.
From the scene of tonight's devastating and symbolic attack tonight this evening. An attack which I myself have been found myself caught up in. I'm still a little dazed and a little deaf, Megan. So I hope you'll forgive me if I seem that it's time to speak with the Prime Minister. Mrs. Salisbury, that's you. You're still here. The Prime Minister.
I couldn't leave. Not when there were people that needed help. Any team player would have done the same. I don't play would have done the same. I don't.
Yes, no accolades here. Or Palisades. Or lemonade. Right. Or lemonade. So, is the situation now? Are we safe? Is the situation now? Are we safe?
Yes. The security services.
See, once again, they're disrupting themselves.
To assure the public that although there have been some injuries, there were no civilian deaths here this evening.
Oh, that's good news about the civil. Sorry, did you say no death?
That's right. No civilian deaths. Just the 4 disrupt terrorists curtailed by law enforcement, who were, as always, so cohesive. If I may, I have a message for your viewers.
Of course, the camera says. Speak there, on the camera there. Speak there, on the camera.
Stay at home tonight. Stay at home. Do not become another casualty of war. Disrupt have had their moment. But, as the dear departed Peter Clement once famously said, it ends today. It ends today.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you.
Oh, good. We have a nice threat.
Back to the studio. Megan, now in studio with Megan Wolf now.
Patrick Bannon there, bravely reporting from the front line of tonight's horrifying bombing. Maybe you need to get checked out, Patrick. Well, that brings us to the end of tonight's National Night News. But
Victory is in sight, my friends. You have mobilized. You have come together. From our agents at the television networks risking arrest and getting those words to you, to the many hundreds and thousands gathering to invade team headquarters. As I speak, we are turning the tide, and it is time for change. Tonight we topple their regime, and we also silence their mouthpiece. Channel 1. Time to wake up.
The military have been actioned and, well, it's pretty scary out there tonight, so stay at home and stay with Channel 1, because the team has assured this programme that the turbulence will soon be over and we can once again focus
Oh, good.
on building with equality, fairness and resources for all. My name is Megan Wolf. Let's make tomorrow better.
Time for Crazy Neil!
Alex, tonight is the beginning of the fall of Advance. Punch Jack, 11 o'clock. Target research, mission to detonate. Permission granted, old friend. We are going to detonate.
Are you blowing up the news building?
Alex, see what you helped make happen. She's coming down.
Well, there goes my job, I guess. And they're dead. Well, of course you... Yep. Well, good job, Disrupt. If I had just played the tape at the second part... Well, I didn't get fired, right? Disrupt destroyed the Channel 1 broadcast tower. Interference-free show, exceedingly poor edit. Advance angered by content. Disrupt effectively silenced. Disrupt ruined the broadcast. So, Disrupt is dead because I didn't play the tape correctly. Well, I wonder if my little mistake did that to happen, or if they were always going to be blown up. Hard to say. A slight dock to pay. Well, what happened to my shares of Crazy Neil's? I thought Disrupt was destroyed. Alright, well that'll do it for this one. This is Asher, and apparently there's more to come. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I still think I'm going to get black bagged at some point, but we'll see. You all take care.